So the second time I went to prison on a bogus charge. So naturally, I get there, I'm mad, I'm bitter, I got a chip on my shoulder. I mean, it's like, even though I knew down deep in my heart and everybody else knew I deserved to be there, the fact that I was there on a charge that I didn't do was very, very frustrating. My grandma was everything to me. She was my hero. I mean, growing up, she's a very devout woman. She was widowed at the age of 21, lost her firstborn to pneumonia when he was 6 months old, and raised my mom on her own. Never remarried. What she did instead, she dedicated her life to the Lord and to the church. She's the closest thing to I think the best way to describe her would be a Pentecost nun. I mean, literally, she lived in a little house right next to the church, and for 60 years, till the day she died, from that point, from the time she was 24 years old or so, till the day she died, she cooked and cleaned for the church. She cooked Sunday meals for the congregation, and she cleaned it, and cleaned the church throughout the week, and that was her life. She loved it. She loved serving people, and she loved God with all her heart, and she loved her grandkids. To me, it seemed like a life of bondage, but she couldn't have been happier. I mean, she just loved to serve. So anyway, they told me my grandma had a stroke, but my grandma's tough, she's strong, okay, she's gonna be fine. And it was a letter from my daughter, my second daughter, my second oldest. She's definitely a daddy's girl, always was. At this time, she's 16 years old, and I hadn't talked to her since my arrest. I just couldn't. I open it up, all excited, and it's just pure hate. I hate you, you're scum. I can't believe you did this to me again. You got arrested on my 16th birthday. You're dead to me. That crushed me, man. That was my baby. That was tough. There was a kid that I was in county jail with. But one thing about this kid, he had a chip on his shoulder as well, and he had a mouth. And he was constantly getting himself in trouble with the other inmates. And I tried to look out for him, but he kept messing up. He'd gamble and get in debt, and he'd buy, get drugs that he couldn't pay for, and was constantly having to bail him out and intervene. And finally, I got to the point where I said, "Kenny," I said, "I can't do it no more, man. You have to stand on your own 2 feet. This is crazy." It was after about 6 months. And one day I'm coming back from chow, and coming down the cell block, and the medics and all there with a gurney. And they're loading Kenny up and putting the sheet over him. They came in on him when he was laying on his bunk and killed him over $13.50. My grandma had a stroke. My daughter hates me. This kid gets killed. What else is going to happen? Well, a few months before I get out, I get that call. You heard right there. My grandma had passed. I went out on the rec field, and I went to the farthest corner that you could possibly go out there on the other side of the softball field, and I fell on my knees, and I just screamed out at God, "Why? You could not even give my grandma this. I mean, I know I don't deserve any special consideration, but she sure did after 60 years of servitude, don't you think? And you could not give her this? I'm done with you. I don't want to have anything to do with you." I took the same attitude towards him as my daughter did towards me. And at that point, folks, that's when I was actually the farthest from the Lord. Some people might think it was whenever I was at the height of my criminal career. No, this was the point that I was farthest from the Lord. Bitterness will destroy you. Amen. If you don't get it eradicated right away, it's like a cancer. It will just eat you up. It'll destroy your relationships. It'll destroy everything around you. And most importantly, it will destroy you and your relationship with God. My wife's the kind of person, she doesn't take it. You give it to her, she gives it back. I mean, so that literally set the tone for our marriage for the next year. And it went from bad to worse. It just got so toxic. And folks, have you ever seen that television show Snapped? All the women are going, yeah. For those of you that don't know, Snapped is a TV show that's a reality show that focuses on women that reach their breaking point and they kill their husband or boyfriend. Right? Well, Saturdays was my wife's day off, and she would watch marathons of this show. It would come on at 10, she'd start at 10 o'clock in the morning and watch it till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all day long. That's all she. And one day I finally asked her, I said, "What do you watch this garbage for?" She goes, "Because when I decide to kill you, I'll know how to get away with it." No. They told me, if we don't get this fever to break, Mr. Bryant, your organ's going to begin to fail. You can't run 103 fever for 10 days straight and not do some damage. But a couple days later, they finally got the fever to start coming down a little bit. And doctor comes in and says, Mr. Bryant, is there a possibility that you've come in contact with a toxin of some sort? I said, a toxin? He goes, yeah, you have all the earmarks and somebody's been poisoned. I'm like, she did it. Can't believe she did it. And about halfway through the worship set, God starts dealing with me. And I know when God's dealing, because like I said, I was saved in church when I was a kid. I knew what it felt like when God starts dealing with you. My heart starts pumping, and I start breaking in sweat, and I'm like, start getting all antsy and looking for an exit sign and all this other stuff. But I could feel that building up, and I'm like, oh, what is going on? All of a sudden, I had tears coming down my cheeks. I'm like, what is this? I haven't even cried since I was a kid. And I was like, did not like it, folks. It was pure love, and I didn't like it. It was just too much. It was overwhelming. I was used to my bubble. I was used to being in control. I was keeping God at arm's length, but see, God's smarter than I am. How many of you know that? He used his people. He used his people. He didn't mess with me, but he used his people, the love of Christ flowing through them to me. And I just fell in love with the place. I'm there editing midweek one time. It was on a Wednesday morning. I'm in the church by myself, and all of a sudden I get this chest pain. It was kind of like a cramp, and it kind of came and it went. Then another one came and it went, and started getting more frequent. Pretty soon this pain goes in my shoulder, down my arm, up the side of my neck, my face. I'm not a doctor, but I don't think that's any good. Just saying. So I call my doctor. The doctor says, hang up right now, call 911 and get to the hospital. So, all right, so I hang up. I said, okay, I'll go to the hospital. I ain't gonna call 911. The hospital's 1 mile away. I'll drive. So I get in the car, decide to drive to the hospital. By the time I get there, I can't get out of the car. They come out with the gurney, load me up, rush me in there. I mean, they're running around. I have like 4 or 5 doctors and nurses all crowded in that one room. They're bringing in the crash cart, greasing up the pedals. I said, whoa, I'm not even out yet, guys. But they're all getting ready, and they do all the tests, all the scopes, all the scans, everything. Doctor comes in and says, Mr. Bryant, you got a blockage. And we're going to have to go in the morning and do a procedure. The blockage, man, I was just fine. I've never had any chest pains in my life before, ever. I just come on. 2 gentlemen showed up from the church, and they're on our pastoral team. They go out and visit in the hospitals, and they go out in nursing homes and stuff like that. Showed up there, and they asked me if they could pray for me, right? And I'm thinking, well, sure, why not? Ain't gonna hurt nothing. My wife was there. They prayed for me. They left. That was cool. My wife was like, it was really nice of them. Yeah, it was. Doctors come in a little bit later, just a few minutes. They said, all right, Mr. Bryant, we're going to take these nitroglycerin patches off of you, and when we do, that pain is going to come back. But we wanted you to be aware that's why. But we had to take them off before we move forward with the procedure. All right, take the patches off. A few minutes later, any pain? No. 15 minutes later, any pain? After 20 minutes, no pain? Wow. To me, I did another scan, the blockage was gone. I didn't get it. I was like, wow, that oatmeal really works. Because see, if I would have admitted that it was God that healed me, that would have meant I had to surrender. And I wasn't going to do that. About halfway through praise and worship, here it happens again. All of a sudden, first time in a year, I start breaking into sweats. Heart starts, oh, God, why are you doing this? What do you want me for? I'm a screw up. I'm going to let you down, man. I'm going to let everybody in here down. It's in my DNA. I can't help it. I'm a mess. Just saying. Hey, bigger the mess, bigger the blessing. Believe me, folks. Why do you even want to mess with somebody like me? I can do you no good. I can do this church no good. I'm only here for a moment. Why? But he wasn't going to give up this time, man. He was just relentless. There's a lady sitting right over here on the end of this pew. I knew who she was. She knew who I was, but we really didn't know each other. It was my pastor's mother. And she comes down to me, and she puts one hand on my wrist like that, and she puts the other hand on my wife's wrist like that, and she's holding them like this. She goes, I never do this. I really don't. She said, but God put on my heart, he wants you to know something. He gave me a word for you. And then he wants me to pray for you. He wants you to know he's never forsaken you. He loves you. And he has a plan for you right here, right now. And then she prayed the sinner's prayer with me. She asked me if she could. I said, yes, absolutely. And that's when I did it. That was the moment, folks. I rededicated my life to Jesus Christ, and I was all in, and I've been all in ever since.
Amen. Amen.
The sanctuary was completely empty. Cool, coast is clear. I slide open my door to step out of the booth, and there was a line of people who went from that point all the way up to the foyer, and all the way up the hallway, all waiting to talk to me. But not for the reason I feared. These were all people that were hurting. These were all people that had loved ones that was in prison, been in prison themselves. I even talked to one couple where the husband was getting ready to go to prison. Addiction issues, all kinds of things. They all just wanted to talk. The thing about it, these people all went to our church. These issues were all there. The thing is, nobody knew about it. Prison's not something you talk about. You been in prison? Oh, yeah, me too. That's cool. No, you don't do that. But what we did is we opened up a dialogue. And then real healing began. It was amazing. It became very apparent that there was a need for a ministry, a prison ministry. And that's how the Dream Center of Alton was born. You got that one individual that you just gave so many chances to, and you're done. You're ready to wash your hands. Can I encourage you not to give up? As long as they're still breathing air, there's a chance. I know for a fact if it wasn't for my praying grandmother on her knees praying until 4:30 in the morning, all those years, I wouldn't be here today. I'd hear the stories about how she'd call these prayer vigils together, and they'd get together and they'd come over, and these sisters from the church would have these prayer vigils go until 4:30 in the morning sometimes, praying for intervention, praying for my restoration. Now, she didn't live here on this earth long enough to see it come to pass here, but she sees it now.
Amen.
She sees it now. Her prayers were answered even after her death. Do not give up, folks. If God's done something amazing in your life, it's your responsibility as a believer to tell others about it. Tell people what God's done in your life. It will change lives, folks. It really will. Folks, I want to thank you so much. I'm going to turn it back over to Pastor here.